Today, somewhere on Earth sets sail for the Sunda Islands in Indonesia, the land of 17,000 islands. It's a rugged territory of water, mountains, and volcanoes, where the heart of this vast archipelago beats. Thomas lives in Eastern Indonesia on Sumba, an island that is a world of its own, where they practice ancestor worship. It's one of the last megalithic civilizations on Earth. They entomb their dead in dolmens, the eternal resting place of the Sumba Islanders. Made is a fisherman in Bali, the land of the gods. Religion and the ocean are the cornerstones of his life. Made is passing on to his children his love of nature, the sea, and the jukungs, the traditional Indonesian outrigger canoes. Alain has been living in Java for 35 years. An animal photographer, his life changed when he left France for the Sunda Islands. Alain wanted to live close to the last remaining Javan rhinos, and he has become one of their most ardent defenders.
I love this place. I'd like to spend the rest of my life here, far from civilization, in harmony with nature. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Sumba, in the eastern part of Indonesia, is one of the lesser Sunda Islands. There are still a number of gray areas concerning the islanders' ancestral traditions. According to history, the first settlers arrived on Sumba around 2000 BC. Thomas lives in Waingapu, where the dying waves of the Indian Ocean wash up onto the shore. He's preparing for the ceremony of Tarik Batu, the hauling of a stone slab intended for the family tomb. Sumba is the last spot on Earth where people erect tombs in the form of dolmens. It's a megalithic culture. Through ancestor worship, the living consecrate their lives to honoring the dead.
We know that after death, the soul enters Marapu, the paradise of the ancestors. This tomb is very old, more than 1,000 years. A long time ago, the village was clustered around these tombs, but with the erosion and the tsunami, they had to move. So the village is much further inland now. All that you see here used to be forest.
Before undertaking anything, there are rituals, sacrifices, and prayers. Every ceremony starts by asking for the protection of the spirits. In the Marapu religion, everything that is visible has its invisible counterpart. What we cannot see is the soul of the ancestors. It is everywhere.
This is the sledge we'll use to transport my family's tombstone. I'm not allowed to take part in the procession because it's my stone. Everyone else does the work for me. Everything is ready for the Tarik Batu ceremony. We just have to finish up the sledge. Then we'll be able to haul the stone slab up to the village.
For centuries, The souls of the ancestors and the mystery of their tombs have hovered over the island of Sumba. For Thomas, the big day is coming up. The beach of Waingapu will resound with the enthusiastic shouts of the crowd and the masters of ceremonies of the Tarik Batu. A few meters from the beach, we see the quarry where the men are cutting the limestone. The stone slab will serve as the cover for Thomas's family tomb. The clan of stonecutters has been working on it for a month already.
The stone is ready, but there's still a lot of hard work to be done. We have to be strong because if we weaken, we won't achieve anything. We all have to have an iron determination to carry out the task that's facing us.
The large houses of Sumba are home to both the living and the dead. The tall, peaked roof can reach 15 meters in height. It is the dwelling place of the Marapu, the spirit of the ancestors. The roof is the frontier between the real world and the invisible world. In each clan, the Marapu ensures the cosmic link between God and the community. On the peak of the roof are two wooden sculptures representing the man and the woman of the family. Waingapu, Thomas's village, counts around 30 houses and 250 dolmen tombs. Here, the souls of the deceased protect the living.
Our houses are where we live now, whereas the tombs are where we go once we're dead. The tombs form an arc in the center of the village. They're like a chain. The houses and the tombs are interconnected. The stone that I'm bringing will become a link in that chain.
Thomas is expecting about 100 people for the celebration of the Tarik Batu. They'll come from the neighboring villages.
The preparation for the ceremony is a heavy responsibility for me. It's a point of honor. While we're still alive, we do everything we can in this world so that our final resting place will be ready. Constructing a tomb demands a lot of sacrifice. It's our eternal home on earth.
Keluarga kami.
Hello. I just dropped by to make sure you'll be coming to help us on Saturday.
Thomas has to make sure that everyone will be present on the big day. He also wants to let them know that everything is ready. According to tradition, he has to feed the participants and their family for 2 days as a sign of gratitude. The Marapu philosophy is based on the equilibrium of the world and life. The balance between what can be seen and the imperceptible has to be perfect, like the harmony between the sun and the moon. The most delicate operation is tilting the stone slab. It weighs 3 tons. The stone is brittle and could break at any moment.
Bagus.
It all went very well.
Tidak ada masalah.
No, there were no problems. That's great. Now we'll all be able to haul the stone.
The shouts of the mistress of ceremonies galvanize the collective energy. She is the keeper of the ancestral knowledge and transmits her spiritual force. The stone has been hauled out of the quarry, and now they have to position it on the wooden sledge. The first phase of the operation has been successfully carried out. Now the sledge and stone have to be hauled to the foot of the hill where Thomas's village is perched. Sumba is a rebellious, indomitable island. The traditions have survived here better than in other parts of Indonesia. The islands have always been wary of foreign incursions, Arab merchants, Javanese slave traders, and Dutch colonizers. Sumba has a warrior spirit. In the middle of the 20th century, the island was still gripped by intestinal wars between rival clans of headhunters.
We're stopping because we've reached the foot of the village and it goes up from here. Once we're on top, we'll be able to take a rest. The stone is very heavy. We'll take a little break here, then we'll get back to work.
We're all very proud. This is a great day for all of us.
Tomas's house in the village is still calm, but the whole family has been hard at work for several days. Marta, his wife, has to prepare hundreds of meals, enough for the many guests. In Sumba, Indonesia's poorest island, the construction of a tomb is a once-in-a-lifetime event.
A lot of people will be coming to our house. I have to cook for everyone. I'm preparing rice, pork, tobacco, coffee, and betel nut. It's the tradition here in Sumba.
This is the final phase. They've succeeded in hauling the stone to the center of the village. Now they'll raise it up with the scaffold before sliding it onto the tomb. The technique has remained unchanged for ages. Strength lies in numbers. For thousands of years, people throughout the world have been building this way.
Okay, it's done. The job's finished. Everybody's happy, and me too. It was very tiring to transport the stone, but we reached our goal. This will be the resting place for my family and me when we pass away.
Here, on the edge of the Indian Ocean, Thomas now possesses the strange force that impels him towards the invisible world of the spirits. Bali is the land of the gods. It's the only Hinduist island of the entire Indonesian archipelago. They say that this volcano, Mount Agung, is the center of the world. This sacred mountain with its 3,000-meter peak is the home of the gods. Mount Agung last erupted in the 1960s. When the volcano awoke that time, it took the lives of over 1,000 people, and 100,000 others had to be evacuated. The Balinese have always attributed magical powers to this mountain. The Hindu religion is the basis of the Balinese society. On the island, spirituality creates harmony, and all the inhabitants are connected by this invisible celestial link. Made is 35 years old. He's a fisherman on the north coast of the island. The sea and the mountain are the marrow of his life. He has come here to Mount Agung with his family to meditate and to ask the blessings of the spirits. In a few days, Made will start the fishing season for the mai-mai, a determined hunt for the royal fish of the tropics, a rare and highly coveted prize.
Kiri kanan, kulihat saja banyak pohon cemara.
Before heading back down to the sea, Made stops by a friend's place to help him with his rice fields. In Bali, there's an ancestral system of cooperation by which each person may help the community. This is how, over more than 1,000 years, the Balinese have sculpted their island's landscapes. Some of the world's most beautiful rice fields are to be found here in Bali.
Semuanya di sini berperan di.
Everyone has their role here. The children, the women, the men, we all help each other. We call that gotong royong. Anyone who has a rice field can come help us, and we, of course, return the favor. When we come here, we empty our mind. We're far from the noisy bustle of the city. We forget everything else. It's a wonderful feeling.
Jalan saya sudah ketemukan dan saya sudah.
I have found my path. I've learned a lot from life. I've done many different kinds of work. I hope that my children will be able to learn more than me, that they'll be able to be free, not dependent on others. I'd really like for them to be able to stand on their own 2 feet.
This morning, Made drops in on his father. He has come to get some bamboo to make a mast for his children's outrigger canoe.
This one's good. It should make a good mast.
I
want my children to follow in my footsteps. It's important for them to learn how to sail. I'd like them to love the sea and fishing. Now I'll be able to make a mast with these bamboo poles. I prefer that the children use a sail when they're out on the boat. They already like sailing, and I like going out on the jukung too. They often come out fishing with me.
I've been going out on the boat for 2 years now, out to sea like my dad. I want to be a fisherman.
He's still in school and doesn't spend all his time out on the boat. He has to keep going to school.
Made is transmitting his passion to his 3 children. He's built them a little jukung, a 3-meter outrigger canoe.
We just finished the sail. Wayne's going to try it out. Right, Wayne?
Sangat senang.
Look at them. They're happy. Later, they'll be able to practice fishing, catch mackerel, dorado, all sorts of fish. They'll be able to learn the fishing profession. It's just great.
These Indonesian outrigger canoes have been sailing the Sunda Islands, the Banda and Molucca Seas for over 2,000 years. They have different names in different parts of this vast archipelago, but they are always simple and efficient craft. These double outrigger sailing canoes were used in the early migrations from the Indian Ocean to populate Australia and the Pacific. In this part of the world, the impact of these Aboriginal boats was as important as the discovery of the wheel. The Balinese seafarers on board their jukungs are the heirs to an age-old maritime tradition.
There are many religions and ethnic communities in Indonesia. It's a source of pride for us. When we speak of our own country, we call it Tanah Air Kita, our land, our water. From the land to the water, it's our homeland. We work the land and the sea, we shape it, and we protect it. There are still many beautiful unspoiled spots here, many places where nature is rich, places to rest, like this one. That's our country. Tanah Air Kita, land and water, this is our riches.
Soon the rainy season will end in Bali, and the fishing season will begin for the mahi-mahi, the dorado, the choice fish for Made and all the other fishermen of the island. Perhaps the delicate curls of incense smoke this morning are the sign of a good catch. With his line or with his kite, Made can track the mahi-mahi for hours.
I bait the hook on the end of the line with a squid called cumi cumi. The kite makes the squid bounce around on the surface of the water, and that attracts the fish. If they're feeding, they'll go for the squid. It's not easy to fish with a kite. You have to apply yourself to learn otherwise. You'll never be able to do kite fishing. Hey, dolphins! The jukung is a wooden boat. It's my second companion, right after my wife. It's fun. I earn a living thanks to this boat, and I live with it. I built it with my own two hands. It's the fruit of my labor, and it's vital for my whole family. I can spend entire days out on my jukung, and even the night sometimes.
Fishing for mahi-mahi is a duel. It takes muscle power to win. Today, Made's luck is with him.
Sangat hebat sekali.
This is an amazing fish. We fought it for 15 minutes, but he eventually gave up.
Dia sudah mau gini sekarang.
I'll put him now down in the bottom of the boat and try to catch some more.
Mau lepas ini. Yeay, mancing mania. Stop. Dapat satu lagi. Bagus. Ada. Ini adalah bisikan yang paling kuat.
Deep down, I feel I've been very lucky. I had a feeling this morning. I thought I'd catch something today, and it happened. It's a very good fish.
Ini adalah ikan yang sangat cantik.
Here in Bali, we call it tompek.
Ini namanya lemedak tompek.
The sea has been generous. Made has come back with 4 mahi-mahi, a very good catch for him. This morning on the island of the gods, the spirits have kept their promise. This is the refuge of one of the most mysterious animals and the rarest land mammal on Earth. In the western part of the island of Java, the Ujung Kulon National Park is the sanctuary of the last remaining Javan rhinoceros. Alain was a zookeeper back in France in the 1970s. But when you're 20, it's hard to resist the call of adventure. Alain dreamed of living in the tropical forest and seeing the big animals of Asia in the wild, not in a cage. So one fine day in 1975, he took off to Indonesia and became an animal photographer.
It was a childhood dream. Often the people who become photographers can do it because they're well off. But I started from scratch. To begin as a zookeeper shoveling rhino dung and end up as a photographer, I've been pretty lucky.
Alain is headed into the heart of Ujung Kulon, a peninsula that juts into the Sunda Strait. He's with his old partner, Sarija, a former forest ranger and an excellent guide. These two have known each other for 30 years. Together, they tracked down the king of the forest. Alain is one of the world's only photographers to capture the Javan rhino, an endangered species. They'll pass the night in the forest ranger's lodge. They're going to hook up with a patrol of rangers who are also tracking the rhinos.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
We'd like to go to the Sigenter River. We'll go through here, and then we'll head up this way. Sarija knows his way around. There's a lot of rhinos in that area, but it's really vast. I brought Sarija along. He couldn't stay away.
Right. I'm glad to see him. He taught me a lot. He's the best.
The park rangers estimate that there are a little over 50 rhinos left. The number has been growing over the past few years due to a drop in poaching, but above all, thanks to a number of births. Every month, the rangers come to collect the images from the cameras placed in different points throughout the forest.
Here, we have what we call a wallow, where the rhinos come to bathe and roll around in the mud to get rid of their parasites. An ideal place to set up their cameras. They're sure to pick up a sighting at least once a month. We didn't have cameras before. Now we have a better idea of where they are, and it's much easier to spot them. The rangers don't care about seeing them. They just want to get them on camera, whereas we want to see them in the flesh. It's so much more exciting. I'd always wanted to come to Ujung Kulon and try to photograph the Javan rhinos. And over the years, I fell in love with this place, with the animals and rhinos as well. I've realized that I'm extremely lucky to be able to see and photograph them. It's really a privilege for me to be a part of this place.
When I was working at Ujung Kulon, the main thing for me was protecting the rhinoceros. This is the last spot in Indonesia where there are still Javan rhinos. They're protected here. It's a sanctuary and the whole world is watching us. I really love these animals, and I'm always afraid that they'll disappear. I'm obsessed with them. I think about them all the time.
Sarija knows this forest like the back of his hand. So with him, I have the best chances of spotting the most interesting animals.
Look, fresh rhino tracks. No more than 3 days old. It rained, so they're not very clear. They're heading in that direction. Let's follow them. Look, that mark was made by a rhino's head.
The rhino is a harmless animal, but they're cursed with a horn that's worth twice its weight in gold, so they're killed. They're killed in Africa. They're killed in Asia. Here we've managed to stabilize the population, but you never know. One day or another, with a sudden change of regime, people could come with machine guns and could all of a sudden kill them off. It could happen. Just this one small population of rhinos, that's all that's left. And it would be easy to wipe them out.
The national park is not only the realm of the rhinos. It's a sanctuary for all sorts of animals that have found a haven from man here. Over the years, Alain has become an ardent defender of the rhinos. He has spent years exploring this forest. Now he knows Ujung Kulon better than anyone else.
C'est vraiment un privilège de pouvoir être là, oui.
It's really a privilege to be here. I've been really lucky to be able to photograph the rhinos. And I don't think many people have been able to do that. I feel really privileged. And I'd still like to see a few more.
The only way to get to the rhinos' territory is by boat. Each outing is an expedition. Alain and Sarija are now headed for the mouth of the Sigente River in the middle of the park. The Sigente River allows them to slip silently through the jungle. Alain also knows it's a passage used by the rhinos.
One day there was a little stream off the river, and we heard something in the water. We waited a moment. I'd heard that noise before, and then I saw a rhino come out. You have to keep all your senses alert. Listen for the noises. Try to catch the odors, because when a rhino is close by, you can smell it. Its scent. At first, it was always a very intense moment when I would see one. My heart would start pounding. I'd tremble a bit. Now I've seen them often enough to take it more calmly. That's why I managed to photograph them without getting too worked up. It's still a very intense moment because you're there facing an animal that no one usually sees.
Ujung Kulon is the one place where the few remaining Javan rhinos live. These incredible animals, straight out of another age. Everywhere else in Asia, they have been killed off for their horn. Thanks to his photos, Alain is doing his part toward the protection of these last kings of the Javan forest, the rhinoceros of the Sunda Islands. This evening, Sarija is thanking the spirits of the forest. He's also praying to continue his close relationship with nature for a long time to come.
When I look at the rhinos, I feel as if I were part of their family. I've always loved to observe them. Before, I had no one to share that with. And then I met Alan, and he was just as enthusiastic as me. It's always been a great pleasure to observe the rhinos with him. We have the same passion. We're like an old couple, the two of us.
I always call on him because I like to have him along. He's helped me so much, and I'll never forget that. He's part of my life. For me, the rhinos are everything. I've managed to photograph them, and that's thanks to him. Today we managed to get so close. Then the rhino calmly went on his way. So beautiful.